Hello everyone, welcome to Australian immigration latest news with Sirus Migration. Today's the episode 23rd, and I would also like to wish you all a happy new financial year 2021-2022 in Australia. So today's the first day after the first day of new Australian financial year. You'd be surprised. I've got a surprise visitor coming who you have not seen for a while. Until then, I've got my lovely daughter Safaya sitting with me. They're in school holiday at the moment, so she decided to help Daddy and Mummy come into the office. So thank you for appearing, Safaya. And then I'm going to welcome Ashani right now. So, my name's Isuru Yapa. You would, as you already know, from Sirus Migration. I'm an Australian registered migration agent, and I've got my lovely wife sitting next to me, Ashani Yapa. We both are Australian registered migration agents. Since my daughter appeared just before, we're missing our son at home. Jaden Yapa didn't show up today, and just a little news personally about us. We're expecting a new baby end of the year. So hence Ashani disappeared for a little while, and now she decided to join with the New Year's program today. So Happy New Year, everyone.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashani Yapa. Welcome to our Thursday migration live session. I think 100% of our viewers, their main goal is to get an Australian visa, whether it's a temporary visa, permanent visa, citizenship or family visa.
Or study plan.
Yes, and our as registered migration agents, our responsibility and our goal is to help you achieve that dream. And saying that, welcome to the new migration year, which is starting today. And we have seen the migration numbers for this year for across all quotas, and it's pretty good news compared to last year. So we will go through that in the program in more detail, and hopefully you will all get your dreams come true of getting an Australian visa this year.
So we've got, as we've been anticipating, we've got a lot of information to share this year. Before we start, I would like to congratulate the latest permanent resident who received a permanent residency today, Subclass 190 grant from Queensland. So congratulations to this client. Is from originally from India and currently living in Australia. I just wanted to remind everyone, these days 189, 190, 4910 series, most of the grants or the processing goes towards the onshore applicants only. So it doesn't discourage, but hopefully good news will coming soon. As you all know, PMSOL came last month, so there's lots of news to share. So as we discussed earlier, there are a lot of information to share, and we are about to talk to you about 2022 migration program, Australian skill migration program. With this, there's a lot of news to be shared, but the most prioritized sectors within this program are business innovation and investment program, which are 188 visa. So we will discuss further into what are the new changes and what streams and how it all works.
And there are 13,500 places from 1st of July until next year for the grant of this visa, which is a good number compared to last year and what's been going on. Yeah.
So we submitted our last set of we submitted four applications in one day, 188 visas with the last year's
old rules
or the regulations. So new year, whatever we talk today will apply to the new program.
That's right.
So I will also like to point out global talent independent visas staying strong with I think 15,000 again.
Yeah,
so
allocation
a lot of people
hasn't changed. Again, they are 15,000, which is really good.
15,000. The main change with the global talent independent. Wow, Mario's done a beautiful graphic on it. High income threshold increased to 158,500. So what it means to global talent independent clients, if you don't have a PhD but you're working currently offshore or onshore in any of these target sectors, resources, agri-food and tech, energy, health industry, defense, advanced manufacturing and space, circular economy, digitech, infrastructure and tourism, financial services and fintech and education, and you're currently earning 158,500 with global recognitions behind you, that you think you can make a change to Australia, whether you have diploma, degree, bachelor's, master's, doesn't matter, as long as you have a good recognition and hitting that minimum income threshold.
And also what we have seen is from when the program was introduced to now, the demand has grown significantly. So is the sort of criteria, the time that it takes to give you an invitation, as well as how quality your application has to be. It has grown significantly from what we have seen. So if you believe you're eligible, I think you should really seek professional help. See how you can put the best application together to increase your chances. 15,000 places are great, but so many people are applying as well. There's so much talent out there that Australia is looking at. So you need to make sure your application, it's highlighted, and as soon as they see it, they'll pick your application. So make sure you put a really good file together.
A lot of people get stressed looking at the numbers, 5,000, 15,000. I'm not too worried about any of those numbers. What I'm worried about, when you apply for your visa, just worry about yourself, and let's present the best profile of yourself to get an invitation. As you all know by now, Global Talent Independent Visa, the way it works is it's an invitation only visa. You have to put forward an expression of interest to Global Talent Task Force with how you're going to be eligible and what's your background, etc. And then once you get an invitation, then you're eligible to apply for your visa. Mostly, majority of the task happens at the forefront to the expression of interest part. You need to have an Australian nominator who is also an expert in your background, who's qualified to introduce you as a global talent. They need to have a sort of a similar background to you.
Plus, they have to be either Australian citizens or permanent resident.
Permanent resident in Australia. Or it can be a company as well.
Yes.
So that's really good news for global talent independent clients. And the next sector, we've been talking quite a lot about employee nomination scheme lately. And Maria, have you got that?
So migration program, you have to open that.
Yeah.
Good.
So employer sponsored program also is in demand at the moment. In the new, they have been given a priority.
22,000 places across employer sponsored visas. So 482, 494, 186 has 22,000 places.
22,000 places, and also as we discussed earlier, there are other pathways like 407 and etc. But let's focus more into 482, 494 and 186 sectors. Certain nominations have better relaxations through 494 visa, such as accountants, where the employer doesn't have caveats applicable. So depending on your category, it is also would be a good idea to start looking for job opportunities in Australia, especially if you're in Australia. But if you're offshore, remember we were talking about PMSOL last program, Primary Migration Skill Occupation List, which grew from 22 occupation to 41 occupations, any of these occupations. Even if you're offshore and if you have a
employer willing to sponsor you, or if you have a visa and a job offer and a job in Australia, then this visa will allow you to enter Australia without a travel exemption. So this is a really good thing. When you look at this PMSOL, this is pretty much what Australia needs in the next year. So to come out of COVID-19 issues, and also where Australia is looking to head in the future. So these are the occupations that are in high demand. So if you believe you're eligible for one of them, even if you're offshore or you're onshore, you have a really good chance to get any one of the skilled nominated visas or employer nominated visas.
Yeah. So for 482, the nutshell of the visa is if you're in short-term skill occupation list or any of these lists, ST, SOL, MLT, SSL, or if you're going through 494, then regional occupation list, or it could be a Dharma list. If you're in one of these lists, you can you have a employer to sponsor you. You'll be most likely to be eligible for this visa. You need to have depending
at least
on
2 years. Qualifications can go up to 3 years depending on the stream that you're applying for, whether it's the
2 years
494
work experience
or 186 in your field or in a closely related field. So if you believe like you're in Australia or you're offshore and you have this employer who's willing to nominate you, then get in touch with the migration agent to find out if you're eligible, because this is another visa that they are giving priority this year.
Yeah. So
So that's 482 and
482, 186. There are two pathways. 186. We don't have the favorite list, do we? We don't. That's fine.
Maybe the migration program.
Yes.
Thank you.
So 186 direct entry is if you have 3 years full-time work experience after qualification, and that's the one, Mario. So this is the one. We talked about it last week as well. So hence employee nomination scheme is one of the highlights in this year's migration program. It is good to understand this. Remember, if you're in PMSOL, even during this lockdown period, if you have an employer willing to sponsor you and your visa category is here, then you should be able to fly in with an travel exemption.
Yeah, it could be quite confusing for someone who hasn't dealt with migration too much, all these subclasses and all these requirements and whatnot. So my suggestion or my advice is, if you believe that you have somewhat chance and you have an Australian employer and you do have a skills assessment or you do have a qualification and some work experience, get in touch with the migration agent to find out if you're eligible for any of these visa categories. Even if you're not, they'll be able to tell you maybe you will have to sit for English, or maybe you'll have to get few more months of work experience, and then you can be eligible. So don't think that skilled migration is my only option. Get in touch to find out if you can be eligible for any of these other visas. There's 22,000 places that they have to fill.
Sometimes when you study, depending on your background, people get confused with the occupation's outcomes. We were talking to a client just before we walked in. The occupation didn't, the education didn't directly support the occupation, the studies. So the outcome was a very quick fix, as the student only needed to study few subjects out of a different course to be qualified to a better occupation, which gave them lot more options. If we talked about if you talked about the particular occupation that we talked about, is the career outcome from the occupation, the studies that he was studying currently was
architectural draftsperson.
Architectural draftsperson. That was a 2-year advanced diploma. And architectural draft person right now is in the short-term skill occupation list. But also for you to get into a 485, you cannot get into 485. And
you need to make sure your occupation is in the medium to long-term list.
skills.
So what the student had to do is enroll into a different course. They don't have to study for 2 more years. Just study few more subjects and be qualified as a civil engineering draftsperson, which is in the medium to long-term list. And that gives the fix that he was expecting, which is the subclass 485 visa and the pathway from there. So it's again comes back to our point. It's very important that you talk to someone. Don't think that my options are over. It's limited. I've got to go now. Before you do that, talk to a migration agent who has experience in that field as well.
When it comes to study student advice and advice towards studying something towards a qualified occupation, it is we have a really good education team with us as well, expertise with a lot of expertise behind them on different subjects and the latest college and a lot of knowledge about certain courses and course structures, scholarship programs. So sometimes this student actually could have changed the course, not change the course, change the pathway halfway without waiting for the end. That way he would have even been able to finish on time as a civil draft person. But the end of the day, the student wants to be an architect right at the end. So there are other pathways as well. He could wait towards the end of the course towards the bachelor's degree. So
yeah, we'll probably leave it at that move to the next one. Victoria?
Business. Let's go to Victoria. Victoria is open. Hooray. Currently, Queensland.
In a snapshot, it's scary, but when you go deep into it, it's not that bad.
So, Queensland migration program is currently closed. They're
expecting to open in end of July. So it's just a month away.
It's a good thing. A lot of people can get yourself ready, and we see our students graduating and finishing off their studies and
getting work experiences. So it's a good thing they're opening end of July.
So if you're in Queensland or if you're working towards Queensland, and also PMSOL has expanded, so the program in Queensland will give more opportunities. And from this year's migration program, we can see lots of opportunities for 491 as well as 190 sector. So 491, if you're invited, you get 15 points from the state, whereas 190 you get 5 points. 491 is a provisional visa which you get for 5 years, and then after 3 years, if you fulfill the requirements such as living and working in regional area, you can then become a permanent resident through 191.
Yeah, I'll quickly go through the Victoria's program for you.
That's good.
So to be eligible for or to get the and by the way, Victoria's opening on 7th of July, so you can start lodging your ROIs from 7th of July. So you must be working in one of their target sectors using their STEM skills. So the target sectors are health, medical research, life sciences, digital. So I'll actually expand digital a little bit. In digital, even they're saying they are focusing on cybersecurity. So if you're working in cybersecurity, you may be able to get the subclass 190 even. So agri-food, advanced manufacturing, new energy emissions reduction, and circular economy. And also they have mentioned something really good I thought I should highlight for you. They're saying, let's say, for example, health. So you don't have to be a nurse to be able to get a nomination in health. So you could be an IT person working in a healthcare sector.
Like in Global Talent Program.
Yeah, so don't limit yourself and think that, I'm not a nurse, I'm not going to get the invitation.
Nurse,
that's why
doctor,
I said, just look at it, it's scary, but when you go deep down, there is some anesthesiologists, there is hope in there. But I think because they only open for limited time as well, and they have 3,500 subclass 190 places and 500 subclass 491 places. So don't wait till the last minute. Get your UIs ready. Talk to us if you want our help to lodge your ROI, and get it in there on 7th of July.
Since you spoke about the numbers, I would like to crack some numbers out there for this year's program. Out of
160,000 places all up.
Queensland general skill migrations got 190 programs got 14,400, 491s got 12,430, and business innovation and investment program got 6,860 through the states. Looking at the numbers, they've been allocated the biggest number per state to New South Wales. 4,000 places for 190 and 3,640 places for 491. So next one up is 3,500 occupations and 1,190 for Queensland. So New South Wales and Victoria is going to be having a lot of opportunities for 190 and 491. But don't forget per capita ratios. If you take it, Queensland's in really good spot as well, if you present it that way.
Yeah.
Tasmania's got 2,600 for both 190 and 491. Tasmania 1,100 for 190 and 2,200 for 491. So which is Tasmania's giving more opportunities for 491.
Mm-hmm.
They have a great 491 program out of all the states. I think Tasmania, Queensland and South Australia are the best states looking at 491 opportunities. For 491 program, for you to be eligible, you only need 50 points because the state governments gives you 15 points when they invite. So anyone between 26 and 33, if you get 30 points there and studied
for
your age, if you studied regionally as a single, you get, if it's a bachelor's degree, you get 25 points plus 10 points for your being single. So you
it's
already
pretty easy to make up the 50 points if you do the right calculations and if you're in the right age bracket. So 491 could be a really great visa for people who can't score really high in those points test. So depending on your situation, some people don't really like 491, they prefer 190.
Well, 190 is a permanent visa straight away.
Yeah,
why would
right.
you if you can? But 491 is not
it's
also
the best alternative.
Best alternative, that's it. You get a 5-year visa, you can do whatever as long as you work and live in regional. Like if you're in Tasmania, anyway in Tasmania is regional. South Australia, it's almost the same. So there's a good program. Especially if you're in Australia, there is very good opportunities for you for 491 and 190. If you're overseas or onshore, then you have, please consider employee nominated. Also remember, chef is in the PMSOL these days. Chef is not the same as cook. So you got to, sometimes people get confused. You got to look into the responsibilities under the duties under the ANSCO descriptions and the duty requirements.
Plus you need to have a certificate 4 to become a chef, whereas for cook it's a certificate 3.
Yeah, so before we move on to the Ashani said you're going to talk about...
I'm going to talk about the business program.
Yes, but I think you said you're going to talk about something else. No. Did you say South Australia? No. Okay, let's talk about business 188 series 188 A, B, C, D, E.
Yes.
We'll touch base with the 188 E as well. I think last week we had a question about 188 entrepreneur. We didn't have enough time to go in deep.
I'm actually releasing some videos in the upcoming weeks for each subsection of the 188, the 4 main categories. Which you stay tuned if you're, especially if you're in our YouTube. If you're a subscriber, then you will get a notice. I'm actually thinking of doing 2 videos
So good opportunity.
today. Yes.
Yeah,
Because,
if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button now, or if you're in Facebook, hit that like button now, so you'll be notified as soon as we release these things. It's a brand new migration year. If you're not a permanent resident or a citizen, or if you are a citizen or a permanent resident looking to get your family or your employees or business partners involved in your projects, you need to know all these new latest informations to be eligible for those plans and programs.
So I think one of the migration programs that went through a major change in 1st of July, actually 2 partner visas. We don't know when the changes are coming to effect though, but the second one is business program. The last change happened, I think, back in 2012. So it was time that they did some new changes to benefit Australia further and to make sure that this subclass works for the applicant and Australia to benefit from. So now the visa, the main subclasses, there were many subclasses. Now they call it the streamlined BIP program. So they have reduced the program and make sure it's a streamlined process across all the streams. So now there are 4 main subclass streams under subclass 188. One is the investor, where you need to invest $2.5 million. It used to be $1.5 million before 1st of July. So if you received an invitation before 1st of July, so on 30th of June, if you received an invitation, you are still eligible to apply under the old rules, even if you lodge after 1st of July.
1st of July, which is a good thing, because people were
Makes
rushing
sense,
and
yeah. So first one is the investor, where you need to invest $2.5 million. You need to get 65 points on the points table, and the main applicant has to be under 55, which can be waived if the nominator or the state decides to do so.
So 188B earlier, it has used to be $1.5 million investment. Now it's 2.5. So how it works, you need to invest that money into Australian government in the state. Once you invest that money...
No, it's changed now. The investment that now has to be broken into parts as well. So we will go into that in detail little
bit
later.
more like the significant investment.
investor,
Yeah.
yes.
So what I was saying is earlier $1.5 million just in government bonds for 4 years, and then you just receive your interest and then go ahead with the permanent residency after 4 years. But right now you can't just chuck your money into one side and walk away. You just need to segregate it into different sections, like you were to do it in significant investor category earlier.
Yeah, it's exactly the same, but the amounts are different.
Yes.
So the second one is a significant investor. We were talking about it earlier as well, where you need to have a complying investment of $5 million, held duration of the provisional visa. And another really good thing is the visa used to be granted for 4 years and 3 months. Now the visa is granted for 5 years, which is again a really good thing. People were struggling a little bit to be qualified at the end of this time, especially the innovation stream applicants. Now I'm really glad that they have made it 5 years. So the other one is the business innovation, which is the most popular stream under this subclass. There are some changes for this though. The minimum net asset requirement for the visa used to be 800,000. Now it's 1.25 million Australian dollars. And also the business person had to have a business ownership of a business with annual turnover. It used to be 500,000. It's 750,000 now. But the rest is the same. 65 points on the point test. You need to have functional English or pay the second application fee. Again, the main applicant has to be under 55, reside in Australia for at least 1 year. This stream also has an extension for up to 2 years. So it could be 5 years, and if you're not ready, you may be able to get another 2 years on top of the 5 years. And the last one is the entrepreneur. We're thinking of doing a extended video on this subclass as well, the stream as well, because now I believe if you look at it really closely, they have made it quite easier for people with the new requirement. And maybe they are expecting more people to apply under this stream, especially people who are already in Australia, who are studying these STEM qualifications and the qualifications in the target sectors. But we will go into more details of this as we go on.
Yeah. So the business visas, not as bad as you think. You get more opportunities comes up, but the bottom lines benchmarks has grown up a bit with especially the most popular 188A visa. I just wanted to remind everyone with 188A, the program is not focused on your education background or your English background. So there is no high requirement of English or education. What they look at is the business.
You don't even have to have education or English background.
So you get points towards your application if you do have English or points, but with 188A visa, what they look at is your business history, business background, and what sort of turnovers you've been achieving through your career. So if you're a businessman or a businesswoman who's got a good background over 5 years and has good turnover, and your age is below 55, then you have good opportunity to come through this. If you're over 55, you may still have opportunities in different categories of this visa category. So if you're a good businessman, we are here for you to support you through this.
Or if you're an inventor, even if you're not a businessman, because you could be eligible through the entrepreneur stream.
Yeah.
Should we answer some of the questions?
Let's go into the questions now. Sorry we couldn't get through to your questions earlier. We had so much to share. Let's go. Facebook, we got few. We'll go one guy. Shehan Rajaratna. Hello.
Hello. I've got Mr. Tosim Udain asking 188A processing time. Right now it's
18 months
about,
to 24.
Yeah, 1.5 years to 2 years. But again, if you have a really good business case and if you can prove that you can bring a lot of resources to the state and the state can benefit from you, we should be able to put a business case forward to try and expedite your visa.
With a priority request, yeah. We have seen people getting the visa under this category within the year or so as well, depending on your background and your business proposal altogether.
Yeah, Tilini. Can I read Tilini's, please?
Yeah, Tilini.
To finish. Facebook, I need to go down a little bit more. Thank you. So I've got Tilini Silva. Hi, I have a positive skills assessment from AIM for supply and distribution. Without English, I have 70 points with state points. Any possibility to get a quick invitation? This is an offshore applicant.
It was a good read until the offshore part. Tilini,
yeah. Sorry, we don't know too much about what's going to happen with offshore. We will know in detail once the state open their programs. Because when the state open their individual migration programs, they will clearly tell us whether they're going to invite people from offshore or not. Most likely not for quite some time, simply because the Australian borders are closed. Like, you cannot really get to Australia right now. That's why they are holding these offshore applicants.
Henny Lane from TAFE Queensland supporting us by saying good information team. Thank you very much, Henny. You have always been a big support to us and our organisation through Metropolitan TAFE time to TAFE Queensland. She's doing a wonderful job in TAFE.
With a beautiful smile, always ready to help. Thank you, Henny.
Henny and Natalie's been wonderful throughout the TAFE, giving all our students a priority and a lot of support, and we always share our knowledge between each other. Thank you, Henny.
I've got someone, Mohan.
So let's go to
YouTube
123 Mohan W.
Yeah.
Hi, Isuru and Ashani. Hi, congratulations to both of you. Thank you. Is there any hope for sales and marketing manager category new year quota? I'm from Sri Lanka with a positive skill assessment. I've actually spoken to someone with similar background lately as well, Mohan, with sales and marketing. I don't think there's much because it's still sitting in STSOL. I'll reconfirm to you soon as well. Ashani, you want to take the next question? I'll quickly check.
Aruna G is saying good morning, useful session. Thank you so much, guys. And I do want to mention that these kind of comments and whatever we are doing right or whatever we are doing wrong, please give us your comments so we can improve this session and get you the best possible information about Australian migration.
Yeah, we here to share our knowledge with you and help wherever we can as a pro bono basis. These information are not specific to anyone's background. These are general information. When it comes to specific individual information, you may want to consider having one-on-one consultation with a registered migration agent. Just going back to Mohan's question, it still sits on STSOL.
Sales and marketing.
Sales and marketing. It used to be a 187 category, but 494 you can apply through as a permanent pathway.
Most likely, you will need an employer who's willing to sponsor you to get you a visa if you're offshore. Not through independent skilled migration though, unfortunately. I've got 44 Devang. What is the scope for electronics engineer offshore applicant having 10 plus years of experience, proficient English, having 65 points on? Again, I think we answered this question somewhat earlier. We don't know too much about the offshore skill migration for different states for us to comment on that, because different states will have their own program and own rules, but we will know that within the next month or so what different states are coming up
to now with the conferences and the meetings and the information sessions that we join with the states list, the latest we know, they're not encouraging offshore applicants at the moment. Even Tasmania, 4943B category, they're not considering many offshore clients. They have there's no encouragement from them. But the good news for electronics and electronics engineers are, if you were to find sponsors, because you have 10 plus years of experience, rather than going skill independent, you might be able to go employee nominated. But the thing is, you'll have to continue looking for a job availability in Australia, and once you find an employer, there might be good opportunities. There are really good demand for electronic categories, and also right now I've been contacted by quite a few employers looking for refrigeration and air conditioning technicians too. So those are demanded areas. So if you have good experience behind you, for you to be eligible, you need to have at least 2 years work experience after or during your work during your qualification. Then you have to find an employer with functional English demonstration. You should be able to get a visa to
work
visa.
I've got Sanjeeva asking, hi, I'm Sanjeeva from Sri Lanka. I have valued skill assessment and IELTS 6. Is there any chance in agriculture sector? I really don't understand valued skill assessment, but agriculture is a great sector. Australia is promoting agriculture, so and some of the occupations are in the demand list as well. So I think you have a good chance, but given that you're offshore, again your chances will go down unless you don't have an employer. So keep an eye on what's happening with the offshore skill migration. We will know about it, and as soon as we know, you're the first one we're going to tell.
Agriculture and 494 goes really well. There are a lot of streams that encourages, so keep an eye out for it. And agriculture, there are certain occupations in PMSOL this time as well. So
I've got Kaushi. Hi, please can I know what's the best visa option for a freshly graduate couple to migrate to Australia for PR? Lady's done Bachelor of Honours in English, and the gentleman's done Bachelor of Honours specialised in cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is a great area, but if you're a fresh graduate, which means you don't have any work experience behind you, that will probably limit you from getting a skills assessment to migrate to Australia through skilled migration. So you may have to look into further your studies in the cybersecurity area to come here for masters maybe. But do give us more information, get in touch with us. That way we can look into your case a little bit more and give you the best option, if there is one.
Hi Warren, how are you? Thank you for revisiting. You've been there last few weeks with us as well. Thank you for joining and encouraging. Your comments are really valuable. Sales and marketing, I think you got a lot of good prospects the way the questions coming through. We will definitely let you know if something comes up for the offshore applicants in Adelaide. But the thing, Warren, with sales and marketing is it's a tough area unless you like if you have a good background and you're in a good wicket with a high income in one of the target sectors, you might be able to go through the Global Talent Independent if you have remarkable background. But if not, the best way to go by is 494 as you saying, or 491 even. But 494 would be a better option if you find an employer in South Australia or somewhere regional.
Yeah, and I've got Sibin asking what about new invitations. I'm sorry, Sibin, your question is not very clear. If you could please rephrase the question.
So
we
invitations
can
are 189, 190, 491, 188.
What about invitations?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I've got Sanjeeva saying great session. Please pay your attention
You
to...
miss Harshan.
Oh, did I? Okay, sorry. I've got Harshan. Hi, would SA nominate students who study online offshore with a student visa under their graduate pathway? If so, have they informed this in writing?
In writing?
No.
Yes, they have.
Have they?
Look, I can't be 100% sure, but we had a similar scenario, and I remember reading somewhere. But if I can find it, share your details with admin@sirus.com.au, and we will send you some information about
Sure.
this question.
I've got
Sanjeeva
Sanjeeva saying great session. Please pay your keen attention to inquiries. Oh yeah, I think we already replied to that. I've got Arun
Thank
here.
you.
In the next session, could you please discuss in detail about university lecturer
189 visa.
Sure,
Yes.
we can do that.
So you guys can
I've
take
got
them out.
Ashan. Hi, if we are on a bridging visa, student to 485. Yep, so
Yeah.
you're going from student to 485 and currently on a bridging visa.
Already
Can
asking
we
a good
apply
question.
PR using 189? Is that effect on our full-time work rights?
No.
You can obviously 189 first you have to get an invitation. So lodging an invitation doesn't affect your visa in any way at all because it's not a visa. Let's say you lodge the expression of interest for 189 and you get the invitation. You're currently on bridging A. You can still go ahead and lodge your 189 visa. The result of that will be a bridging C, but it will not come into effect until your either the 485 is granted or the 189 is granted, whichever comes first. I hope that
So
makes sense.
189 when 189 the short answer without going too deep into the jargons is
It won't affect.
it won't affect.
Yes,
Yeah, but 189 when you get that visa granted, you're a permanent resident.
that's right.
Yeah.
I've got Pasan here. Hi, I'm from Sri Lanka. I have a degree in business
Ayuboon.
administration. I'm willing to go for a master's also. If I study in Australia, can I go for the PR? Do I have a chance? Should I change my course or should I follow this path to the end? Business administration is a vast area. So I think getting in Australia, you probably have already seen their priority list. You have probably seen their target sector. So if we are thinking of changing your career, I would probably suggest you change into one of them, because as we can see, not every occupation can easily go for permanent residency. They have very clearly, specifically told us, if you study one of these, they are going to be in demand. So it's a great thing to come to Australia to study masters. I also agree with that. But if you're thinking of changing the path from business administration to a different area, I think that would also give you better chances for PR.
So, Pasan, if you're doing business administration, maybe see if there's other ways that you can benefit out of it. Otherwise, if you're thinking of taking a little swing in your pathway, have a chat one-on-one with one of us or one of our education teams or anyone to design the pathway properly, so that you will, rather than waiting to the end. Aravind S. When is
the right time to apply for subclass 190 PR? My wife is a software engineering professional. She is going to do her IELTS this month end. Offshore applicant. I think you should wait and see how the offshore applications go. When are they going to start inviting offshore people? Nothing wrong with getting ready though. Get the skills assessment, get the English, get everything else to make sure you have enough points. But then you wait and see what happens with the offshore skill migration program.
Neetu, thank you. You're a hairdresser, 65 point offshore. Unfortunately, don't have much good news for you in 189, 190 independent programs. The best option for you that we can really have to advise would be employee nominated. So look, if you've got good skills, look for an employer in Australia.
I've got Kishore Kumar. Hi there. Appreciate your work towards the aspirants. I am currently on 482 visa working in Sydney, and my employer has agreed to sponsor for 186. It's a small company. What documents is required? Definitely get in touch with me. I'll help you with the subclass 186 application if you prefer. We need to see
whether it's a TRT or...
We need to have a chat with your employer as well first, so they understand all the document requirements. There is a document checklist we can share with you when it comes to that. And they're the documents that you will have to collect from your employer. Mainly for 186 visa from the employer's side, they need to prove that their business can afford you. Business has a genuine position for you. The business is running legally in Australia. And your occupation is not just created for getting you the visa. So, but under these headlines, there are a lot of documents that comes. So we can help you with the list of documents and everything else.
So Pasan, you got a very rare question that we haven't seen for a long time.
We have the borders open in 2022
Even
at
I
least.
think the PM's not...
That's a very good question.
We are in a really bad lockdown right now. Majority of the country is under lockdown again, including Queensland. It is, like we all like it or not, being a norm these days, these cases popping in and out. But the good thing is the jab's going well, a lot of people getting vaccinated. So things, and there's a lot of, quite a few industries such as tourism industry and states, education industry, universities, they have put forward programs to take federal government's attention and also the approval to proceed with them to open the borders. I think a lot of people agree these days opening up borders in a structural manner or a strategic manner would benefit economically as well as movements as well. There's a lot of people having difficulties without traveling between borders at the moment. So hopefully it will, but no one knows. Obviously, I don't know the real answer for it. Hopefully it will come up good.
Yeah. I'll actually, if you don't mind, guys, can I move to Facebook? There is a good question about Queensland because I also have some news about Queensland before we end the session. I've got Vikas asking, will the Queensland migration will be same for 2021, 2022 like last year in terms of 80 points or more? Any predictions? He's also asking, are they going to take some path as Victoria with ROI and other requirements? So the news that we have received from Queensland is they are going to come up with a new website. So BSMQ is also going to be called Migration Queensland, and when they open their program, they will launch their new website as well. But they haven't told us anything about such thing as a ROI. What they have said is when they open, they will open for a week, and then they will close, and then they will again open in the next quarter. Hopefully
they go
in another
quarter by
3
quarter.
months. Yes.
Yeah. The first quarter will be opening towards the end of this month too.
Yeah. So
I don't know why they go into Migration Queensland. It's nice and short, but I love that BSMQ.
So, and again to do with Queensland, they have 1,000 places for subclass 190, 1,250 places for subclass 491, and 1,400 places for the BIP program or the Business Migration program. They haven't really told us whether they're going to have 80 points priority or which sectors, but we are thinking this program year would mostly look like the last program year as well. But they've also given us some news. BSMQ for their new website, they're taking some photos and they're doing a session on 9th of July from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. So if you're a migrant, successful migrant in Queensland, if you have received a visa through Queensland nomination, you can go there and share your story with them.
And you might be a superstar.
Yes. We're thinking of sending some of our clients as well to get their story published, and it's going to be in their new website.
Very, very good processing team they have in BSMQ. With our experience, they always work on prompt with they go beyond the lines to help clients out to process applications faster and understand their backgrounds one-on-one. They will most of the time pick up the phones and answer, support a lot of backgrounds and questions and issues as well. So thank you, BSMQ Migration Queensland. And
yeah, we can't wait to see the new website and explore all through it.
Saravanan, Anto John. Registered nurse in Australia, having 65 points. Am I eligible for 190 visa in New South Wales?
Most likely yes, but we want to know which region you're from as well. So get in touch with us. Registered nurse with 65 points for New South Wales. Looking good actually with the New South Wales new numbers as well.
Yeah, New South Wales got the largest number of occupations available. I think they'll be doing at least 1,000 invitations a quarter because they have 4,000. So
I think we have a lot of questions. We will get back to all of them after our session.
Let's just browse through some quick questions.
Okay.
We'll take 2-3 minutes. I'm an Indian chartered accountant, 8+ experience, scope, immigration. Hi, Saravanan. Best thing for you as an accountant is to look for an employee nominated. At the moment, it's in PMSOL right now. Look for an employer, apply through, you might have a better option. Saipreet Singh, Sanjeeva, thank you. I'm a baker, have 3 years experience in New Zealand. Can I move to Australia? If you're a New Zealand permanent resident or a citizen, obviously you can come in and then go through one of these programs. Somebody figure out a nominator for GTI. Priyanka, we have been proposing certain things, nominators for GTI. We cannot guarantee. It's not easy as like someone knows your background. So if you're struggling to look for find a nominator, the best option, look through LinkedIn and contact certain nominators that way, or also peak bodies. So computer, ACS, Agri, they sometimes do through their peak bodies as well. So
I've got, actually, I'll pick the question from JD. Working as an engineering technologist in regional Victoria since last 5 months. What are the chances of 491 190 companies working in maintenance of machines and in agriculture sector? I think you have a very good chance, because I'm looking here and agri-food is one of their highlighted sectors in Victoria, and they're saying they're looking for highly skilled people working to develop food growth and production, as well as the modernization of Victoria's agri-food sector. So get in touch with us. We will probably get ready and lodge a ROI for 491 or 190 for you.
why do you go up a bit? Pfizer, Haida, just a quick one. You got 75 to 80 points. I think 189, 75, 190, 80. Not sure how it will go, but you may want to consider 491 as well. That's then you become 90 points. So let's go into the next one. Joyce Dean. Thank you, Joyce. A lot from wonderful. It's totally living currently in Philippines, and we are going. We just get so son. I'm wondering how can I get my son, who's toddler, currently in the Philippines, and we are just granted. So then we have to do a separate application for 491.
Yeah, I wonder if you included your son in your 491 visa application or not. Maybe not, because you were here and he's there. So in that case, you will have to lodge a subsequent visa for your son. Depends. If get in touch with us, we will look into this little bit more, and we can advise you what is the quickest way that you can bring him here. I've got Jokula asking few times, can you tell us when Australia is going to allow international students? A very good question.
Yeah, I think New South Wales starting soon. Then there are programs getting ready for Tasmania, Victoria, and South Australia. We were expecting there'll be some news cracking on international student movements this month, but last Sunday Australia hit a really bad, hit a lot of bad news popping up with the COVID-19, hence a lot of instant lockdowns in certain areas. So don't know if that'll have any rolling effect to this, but very soon. So I think there'll be opportunities for international students. So
guys, it's taken we've taken 1 hour of your time, and we have given as much information as we can, and we have answered the questions to our best ability. So thank you so much for listening to us, and hopefully we can get you some good results this year.
Yeah, we will. We would love to help you out. If we couldn't get through to your question by now, please type your send your question or set up an appointment through admin@sirus.com.au. Guys, we have a lot of inquiries comes through, so we
sometimes it takes us a while to get back to you. It could be about 2 days sometimes,
because
going through lockdowns as well, and we have a lot of inquiries to filter through. If we don't answer your inquiry, please don't be discouraged. Send it to us again. We will get to you.
We go through a priority inquiry process as well, where someone's got an urgent attention. We book them fairly quickly. Our calendars are mostly filled, so don't be upset. Keep an eye. If it's urgent, please send us an highlighted email to admin@sirus.com.au, or send us an email or a phone call to. If you're not getting any support through these emails, and if it's not a priority sort of one, maybe pick up the phone, call us in one of these numbers, and you'll get a better quick answer that way too, to set up an appointment. Please don't expect the people who's answering, they're not always migration agents, mostly our administration support team. There are a lot of good comments from our previous clients, how good our administration team looked after throughout their migration journey. So they may not be able to answer. They'll be your best friend during the
Yeah, they'll
application process.
guide you through the right channels. Thank you so
So,
much once again. So we
stay
will
safe.
see you next Thursday.
Okay, have a good good weekend and happy new migration year 2022 to everyone. And stay safe. Long weekend, school holiday. Enjoy with
Is it
kids.
long weekend?
Well, for Queensland, because it's we are in lockdown. What else? We are the only people who's working, I think. God
Alright,
bless
see
you
you
all.
guys.
Bye bye.